Most traditional families do the Haudenosaunee. When they're born, they're born with a stick, and then when you get older or when you pass, your stick goes with you, so you can play in the spirit world with the other warriors. And I've already, and my family knows that for me, and I've already have a stick that I'm taking. I've had it for almost 50 years, so it's going with me. But that's
So I believe that the wooden stick is harder to play with. You can't just pick up a wooden stick if you've learned with plastic. I think it's better to start with a woody, and then once you get it down with the woody, if you want to use a plastic, then you can. Because the woody is much harder to use, and if you're good with the woody, once the plastic stick gets in your hand, it feels like nothing. It feels like a feather in your hand. Junior, what we really have to do is get a woody in your hands. That's what we really need to do. You got it down with the plastic stick, but
you can't even pick up a loose ball with a wooden stick.
That's how I learned how to play lacrosse, boy, is with a wood stick. You were given a wooden stick when you were born. Someone put that stick in your hands right when you were born. So you should start with wood, use wood. Also, this is our connection. This is our connection to the earth. These sticks come from that. The sticks, the plastic sticks, they're not the same. Because a wood stick is actually harder to use, so by the time you learn how to play good with a woody stick, you're super good with a plastic stick.
How are those wooden sticks even made in the first place?
That's a good question, Junior. That's a good question. So it all starts with a tree, and that tree comes from the Creator. That tree is giving itself up for not only the stick maker, but the recipient of that woody, right? So the stick maker will give thanks for that tree giving up itself for the purposes of making this wood stick. And then it's a long process that starts. I know a guy in Cattaraugus, his name is Snooky Brooks, and he makes wood sticks.
Hey, Kalen, what's up, my man? How you doing, buddy?
How's it going?
Brings you on our neck of the woods.
Coming to grab a woody off you.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Stay still.
For my boy.
My honor, my honor. When I was a little boy growing up, they didn't have Tupperware sticks. They didn't have Nike and Brian and Reebok sticks. They didn't have all these Warriors, and this is what we used. Oh, hickory. I've known Kalen's family for years. For years I've known Kalen's family. I played lacrosse with him, alongside of him. I played lacrosse against him. I couldn't catch him. I could take some of his back checks, so to say. I'm glad you guys are doing this because it teaches us something. It teaches us the love of the game from a father's aspect to a child's aspect, and what that father is doing to get his dream into his son's hands. I suppose you could look at it that way, because I did. I dreamed about putting these in my children's hands. I dreamed about it, and then I did it. And now I'm doing it to my grandsons. And it's the most rewarding thing.
It's tradition that the Haudenosaunee, the father or the uncle or a cousin, somebody gives that baby a wooden stick. And it's his introduction into the lacrosse world.
I wasn't born with a lacrosse stick, but I'm sure when I go on in the spirit world, my stick's going with me. But now, when all my sons were born, they had a miniature stick. All my grandsons are born, they had a miniature stick.
Once you understand the skill that is required to make a stick and the amount of effort that someone has put into that, it really gives you that sense of balance and that respect. And if you understand the game, understand the skill required to make a lacrosse stick, a wooden stick is a really like high honor.
I have my log. I have a pile of logs over there, but a log, and I split these down, quarter them up, get them down to around this size, and I'll use a planer to get them down. So what I would do is I would walk over and I put them in my steamer. That's a man-made steamer I just had welded up, just a basic barrel with water inside it. I got that up for the wind. I just maintain a fire under here. And this thing is filled up to about here with the water. I got a piece of rebar in the back there that will hold this. Okay, after I have about 6 sticks in here, I'll cover this up with some burlap, let it steam for about 2 hours. I have a thermometer I stick inside there, I can see what kind of pressure I'm at. Like I was saying, this would be steamed up. So young man, this is where the action starts. Okay, we're gonna take your stick over here to this jig, but the stick would go inside this notch here like this, and we would wrap it and bend it completely around. So this stick isn't steamed up, but I just want to show you what would happen. It would go up and around, and I hold my leg on it here, and I'll take a piece of wire and I'll tie it together here. It would be inside the jig similar to this. I would pop it off, the wire's on it, it'll stay in this position. This stick was bent about 4 months ago. I gotta put another back bend on it. Yeah, they take long. You gotta let the wood cure. After I bring them out of the woods, they gotta cure. After I steam them, they gotta cure. So part of the curing process, we build these jigs. After it's been wired up top here and we pull it off, I'll put it down onto the bench. And these jigs are what creates the handle notch there, okay? I look down this end, this point, and this point, keep them all aligned straight so that when it's time, the stick is balanced properly. If you take these off too early and they haven't cured all the way, they're gonna move around. So it's important you leave them on there. So with any stick, like I said, we leave the bark on. Usually when I come from the steamer to over here, the bark comes right off.
Oh, it just falls off from
Yep, the steam gets in between it, okay. It peels right off. I save that stuff for more kindling, more wood, but that gives me the stick.
One stick was hard to come by, so you had to take care of it. Like you had to take care of it. It's not like nowadays where even my boys, when they played, they'd go out and buy plastic stick here and plastic stick there, and you know, have anywhere from three to 4 to 3 to 5 to 7 sticks. Back then, you know, you had one wooden stick, and like I says, you were taught to take care of the stick, treat it. You know, that was a part of your body.
You kind of, a lacrosse stick kind of becomes part of you, to be honest. I mean, and you can see that when somebody breaks their stick, how upset they get because how much work people put into it, right? And the care and how much care you take of it. And you know, and especially when you just get it shooting just right and everything just feels just right. And if it breaks, I mean, people, you know, you might see somebody flip out because, you know, people do. You know, it does become a part of you, and you know, you take good care of it, and when something like that breaks, it's tough.
The reward I get from working on a piece of wood and coming and presenting it, the smile, watching a child score a goal with a stick I built, and those little stories are the little stories that I really treasure. A little boy scoring a goal with a stick I built. That child is going to accept that stick, and he's going to have it his lifetime. The bond between him and his father is going to be extreme. That said alone. And those are the stories that I admire, what we do for the kids, especially when it comes to just a piece of wood. You know what I mean? Just a piece of wood. Well, that piece of wood's gonna put a smile on that child's face until he takes it with him. So after we've taken our lacrosse stick out of the jigs, it's gonna look something like this. It's time to work them. I can speed them up with a hand planer, takes them down. I have a router table that can make them circular. The bottom line is, I like to put them on my hands. So you get the draw blades out, you clean them up, you can take the inside of this down. Those draw blades are quick. I'll take a 4-in-1 rasp and I'll clean it up a little bit, and it's starting to look like a lacrosse stick, just like this one is. I can tell already it's starting to wiggle around in my hands good. It's all good feeling. After we have a stick pretty much sanded and rounded out, sanded out, it's ready to have its holes drilled. Most lacrosse sticks have 21 to 22 holes in it.
Okay.
Okay, so there's four holes down here to receive the 4 leaders, the running leaders. And we'll put these side rail holes in them. And we'll put the top leader, 4 of those. Sometimes we make 3, sometimes we use string and we make smaller holes. You can do what you want. And we gotta drill a hole here, 1 here, and 1 more shooter here. So usually there's 21 holes that are in a stick, 21, 22. Sand it out. I sand them out to about a 320 grit, get them smooth. And then we put a little covering on them. You use anything you want, it's up to the stick maker.
Covering such as shellac? Or?
Yeah, I use a flake shellac. I just cover them up. I use a garnet finish because it just makes it darker, looks more old, you know, brings that stick out a little bit. Traditional. That word says it all to me. Traditional. Now this stick was made by an Onondaga brother of mine, and this is traditional netting, you know. He used leather. That's as traditional as we can get. The rawhide, traditional, all from animals. And the wood itself from Mother Earth. The hickory, you know, it's a tree. Like I said, I didn't build this stick. And you can tell he used long leather leaders. So he threaded it all up traditional style. Beautiful stick, it's a beautiful stick. Up top, we have like a shooting laces. And the stick is designed to be able to be balanced well. So it's got this hook here, just where it bends. And there's different styles. Some guys go with a straight style across the head. Some guys use the circular one. That's what I use. That guy's gonna make the stick how he feels, how he likes, you know. There's no right way, there's no wrong way. They're making them. And that's the important thing, they're making them. It's tough work. You cannot be discouraged. You gotta get involved with it and follow it through, finish it up. You'll be proud. And then give it to your boy. My normal style of sticking is I'll use black leaders, 4 running leaders, and we lace it up with the white string. The rawhide we got is at length and it can accommodate this whole run. Okay, so it's a process of going up and down, wrapping, it would dog it off and then bringing it back down, wrapping, moving on down to the next one. So it's not easy, it's tough. And you got to do it fast because the stuff's going to start hardening up on you. I don't really think that there is a word, the end with this. So it's got to get to somebody's hands. So we make them, we get them out to the community. The stories I like is when I talk with the father and he's going to present it down to his son. It's rewarding to me because I know I helped that father achieve a dream he had. I helped that father help his son along with the game. Kalen, is going to be given to your son. I know you're proud to be a father. I'm proud to be your brother. This game means so much about family. I want you to give this to your son with my family's appreciation. And I want your son to hold this high. Because I know you love this game as much as I love it.
Absolutely, brother. Thank you so much, Yahweh. Yahweh.
That's what it's all about. That young man's going to enjoy.
The stick maker is putting his heart and soul into making this stick. So not only does this stick already have a spirit because it was a tree and it was alive and full of life and it gave itself for this stick, but it's also developing a new spirit as it's turning into a lacrosse stick from a tree. And it's one of the ultimate honors for someone to give you a wood stick because of how sacred they are. I was told to treat the wood stick as though if it was your arm. You know, they say never leave your wood stick outside. You know, never put your wood stick in the trunk. And then you ask yourself, would I leave my arm outside overnight?
No.
Would I put my arm in the trunk? Where?
Of course not.
Right? So that's the importance of these sticks and how sacred they are and how you're supposed to treat them. And what you do for that stick will do for you. So you treat your stick good and your stick's gonna treat you good.
Oh, okay, that's awesome.
Yep, these woodies have a spirit.
That's cool.